Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in because without you guys, I would not have a show. And I'm always grateful for you taking the time out to tune in. Hopefully today you stayed out of the rain. You stayed out of the rain. You stayed out of God's way and let God do his work. I know when we are out working, he allows us to do what we're great at doing. And when he has to work, we have to allow God himself to do what he needs to do. So many things have come across my desk since we were able to help Principal Guillory over at Yates to get back to the school. And I want to say this, that, look, man, y'all out here looking for advocates. It's very, very simple with me. I don't have the Fly website. I don't have the Fly business cards. I mean, you know how to get to me, but you have to make a choice. And, at that point, you want a pair of tennis shoes that come from Walmart, or do you want a pair of Jordans? I'm the Michael Jordan of this game when it comes to education advocacy, for sure. Advocacy across the board. I've been told that I'm the best in the country. So if you want the best, then you know where to go. If your people need help, then you know where to go. You can always reach out to me. We'll have to set up you some consultation, but then so be it. After going through the fiasco, which was the removal of Principal Guillory from Jackie A. Senior High School, I made up my mind not to trust this school district in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Not to trust this school district in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I started looking at different cases. I started looking at things that I'd seen on the news pertaining to HISD. I started looking at very, very complex matters that seemed a little open and shut. But then the more I'd started digging off into a lot of these situations that I wanted to really, really look at, I started seeing some major inconsistencies. And one of those situations was the racially charged removal of baseball coach, head baseball coach Nick Ozuna. Head baseball coach Rick Ozuna from Bellaire High School. Now, if you've been sleeping under a rock for many years, I'm not a baseball fan, but I know when it comes to high school baseball in this country, there is no one even equivalent to it. If it's Friday night lights in football, then I don't know what they call it on the mound, but it definitely does not go through Odessa, Texas when it comes to football. It goes through Odessa, but when it comes to baseball in the state of Texas, it goes through Bellaire, Texas, the most successful baseball program in the country for many, many decades. They put more players in college baseball than the law can allow. They put more players in the pro baseball than a lot of schools could ever think about. They have a rich history in baseball. They have a only thing I can say, man, they the cream of the crop in baseball. So I started, I'm like, I want to see what really went on with this baseball thing at Bellaire. Because as a black man, when somebody's discriminated against and they're black, then of course, it rubs me the wrong way. But I also know that lately, because of this politically charged climate, that a lot of people, they jump on racially charged issues to make themselves look good. And that go for activists, they go for politicians. They just jump on it because it seems like the right thing to do. And we always are looking for a good human interest story, especially the media, to where they can get the ratings that they want. I get that too. But something about this Bellaire thing just didn't seem right to me. Now, as a black man, I'm going to step on some toes tonight. I'm already stepping on them, and I get it. But the truth is the truth. That's all I'm going to say. The truth overshadows all the BS. And when it comes to the Houston Independent School District, I know that Black and brown people in teaching positions, coaching positions, administrative positions are under attack. They're under attack, depending on where you are. So to make you understand the correlation, when you think of football in HISD, you think of Jackie A. Senior High School. When you think of baseball, you think of Bellaire High School. Two marquee programs at two different types of schools in two different types of communities. But the one thing they share, and that's in common with both of them, the sports may be different, but they're the king of the mountains in both of them. That's football for Yates, that's baseball for Bellaire. Now, basketball, we could toss that up. Them great Phyllis Wheatley teams in basketball, those Yates basketball teams, girl-wise, Yates girls ran the table forever. One year in the 80s, they went to the state tournament 5 years in a row. So basketball is a toss-up, but baseball is a no-brainer. It's Bellaire High School through and through. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to push the share button on this video because I am going to go over some things and I'm getting my file ready. One thing I want to make clear to everybody that decided to listen to me tonight is that I don't need to get information. And this is where I get these people every single time. I don't need.
You can spend your career stuck in an office, or you can inspire students to think outside the box. You can fill the week with email.
Okay, there we go. Let me open that back up. I don't need to get information from anybody that's involved in any incident that I decide I want to look over. I have my way of getting whatever information that I need. And I've said it before, I got people on the inside of HISD, I can get whatever I want. So I wanted to look at this one because I wanted to see if Coach Ozuna was a racist. I wanted to see if he allowed racism to be a part of his storied baseball program. I wanted to see if this is what it was. A man who's been involved in his community and his school for over 17 years. You don't survive 17 years being an undercover racist. That's the first thing that struck me as odd. You something about racism, you just can't hide it for too long. It's got to come out. And I don't think it'll take 17 years. Now, as I'm doing the research, I got my Hennessy and I got this good old cigarette because I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to hit it from the neck. I'm going to hit the Hennessy from the neck because what I found is astounding. What I found, in a sense, it breaks my heart. And I don't know if these people will ever be able to recover from what I'm about to kind of lay out. HISD, you can't tell me anything at this point. I know what I need to know. Whether good or bad, I know what I need to know. But to get you up to speed, we're gonna give you a refresher course on exactly what happened. Tune in.
Chains and status meetings. Or you can fulfill young lives through hands-on learning and field.
This video put out by community activist Quanell X shows a brawl outside the Westbury Bellaire High School baseball game Friday.
While he was pitching, he could hear some of the Bellaire baseball players making monkey sounds real loud.
The aftermath of alleged racist taunts and gestures made by Bellaire's baseball team. Quanell pointing blame at Bellaire baseball coach Nick Azuna, who he says failed to de-escalate the situation.
This man allowed a racial situation to take place that literally almost exploded at the baseball game.
I represent some families of students who've been affected by this incident.
Some Westbury players now looking to take legal action.
All options are on the table. The family are very disappointed. They're distraught.
Stephen Carpez has known Azuna for years.
Coach Azuna has actually coached my son in baseball for well over 5 years.
He says the allegations against the coach are being taken out of context. His hope is that both sides are taken into consideration.
I'm fully aware of his character, how he treats every kid, how us baseball parents want our kids to be treated. We've never seen anything but fair, balanced, and good character out of Coach Azuna.
Now, Azuna's attorney did send a statement saying he's looking forward to his reinstatement. He also went on to say that any alleged racial slurs that he's being accused of is completely false. I'll send it back to you.
So there you have it. Cornell shows up and he does what he's great at doing. I mean, he did his press conference and from there, you know, Mr. Ozuna was reassigned. To the best of my knowledge, he was taken away from Bellaire. He was reassigned to the warehouse. That was 10 months ago. I know one thing about HISD, that if it's open and shut, it ain't going to take 10 months to get you in there to fire you. Let's go back to Tiffany Guillory, a person of color, just like Nick Ozuna is. For those that think Nick Ozuna is white, he's not. He's Latino. So the thing is, they say they had something on Guillory. It took them less than a month to bring Guillory up in a board meeting to terminate her. Why wasn't Nick Ozuna terminated immediately? Why is Nick Ozuna still at the warehouse at this moment as an HISD teacher that's been reassigned? Over the course of my career of 14 years of battling HISD, the only time that happens is when HISD has dropped the ball. The only time that happens is when they don't have the evidence that they rightfully say they're supposed to have to go after somebody. And Alan Guillory says Latino can be white or black 5-star, and I know that. But Nick is a proud Latino that he is what he is. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to get a feel for Nick Ozuna. Nobody asked me to. Nobody has given me money to do this. It's something that God put on my heart, that God told me to do. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can reach out to this man. I'm gonna figure out a way to get to him. I can get to anybody. And I had the opportunity to speak to him. I didn't really want to know the details. I wanted to know the person. So we agreed to meet and we sat down and we talked just about, I'm an old coach, and we talked about coaching and how things have changed over the years. And we talked about family. We talked about Yates. We talked about Bellaire. We talked about the culture of both. And I walked away from that table. And when I walked out the building, I looked in the sky. And I'm being honest with you, it looked like the clouds kind of moved. They separated. And it's like I could see God. And as usual, this is now your assignment. So I went and did my homework, and I got my people working, and I needed to find out some things. So what I'm going to do, bear with me, I closed that screen, but I'm going to get it back. Hold on a second. I want to bring this back up. Hold on. I want to bring the screen back up.
Making racial taunts at the opposing team. A spokesperson for HISD confirmed this afternoon that longtime coach Nick Ozuna has been reassigned and was not put on paid administrative leave. ABC 13 reporter Daniela Hurtado joins us live with more. And Daniela, where was he reassigned?
Well, that's the big question, right? So this afternoon, we did confirm with the district spokesperson that not only the coach Nick Ozuna has been reassigned, but so has his assistant coach, Robert Manuel. Now, this is going to be happening until the outcome of the investigation comes out. And the district does confirm with us that they're both reporting to a different location, although they didn't tell us what location within HISD rather. Now, something they do tell us is that both of the gentlemen will not be reporting to Bellaire High School until further notice, and they won't be coaching that baseball team. This Westbury High School parent was sticking up for his son following last week's game, where some Bellaire baseball players are accused of making monkey sounds at his.
I'm going to stop this thing every now and then. I'm not an animal guy. But I heard the sounds. It's not monkeys. It's not monkey sounds, I can tell you that. Remember this. God gave me this assignment, so I have to do it forthcomingly like I do everything else. And as a black man, if it was monkey sounds, I would be offended. They're not monkey sounds. I'm still trying to put my mind around what animal it is, but it's not a monkey. It's not a monkey. So let's keep going.
His son.
But he's so enraged that the baseball coach from Bellaire High School would tolerate this, not stop it, not do anything, and not even apologize to the Westbury baseball team and coaching staff was what angered those African-American parents.
Now, during the course of a sporting event, me being a coach, and I clearly understand the dynamics of how it works, who has control of the baseball diamond? That would be the umpires. The umpires have the ability and the power to stop that game immediately. Remember what I just told you. It'll come back up.
Well, now X with the new Black Panther organization says the parents wanted the coach to immediately suspend the player accused of making the sounds.
They wanted him to immediately suspend the player that was accused of making the sounds. Now, based on the information that I've obtained, and I've obtained it my way, Nick Ozuna didn't give me anything, and nobody from Bellaire gave me anything, and nobody from Westbury. He wanted the guy suspended immediately. That's what he said. All right, keep watching.
He hoped Coach Nick Ozuna would send a clear message to other players.
Coach Ozuna did. Oh, they ain't gonna tell the truth, huh? Whoa, what? Cornell X said that Coach Ozuna should suspend the player immediately. That's not gonna happen at the field. And they said basically he ignored it and he didn't address it. We'll get to that. Let's go.
The family are very disappointed. They're distraught.
Kevin Murray is an attorney representing several of the Westbury families.
It is the district responsibility to do their part to ensure that this type of behavior, this type of insensitivity that's happening amongst these children, amongst the staff, and amongst the parents does not happen again.
Well,
first of all, no disrespect to this young lady, Candace Matthews. I refuse to put the doctor on the front of it, and we already know why. Anything that you touch, I know that you've not done your homework. 2, you're not versed in educational law. You don't understand board policy. So therefore, anything that you touching, I'm looking at. Let's keep going.
While some are calling on the termination of Coach Ozuna, others are standing by him.
Well, I think once he gets a chance to speak and put out his side of the story, I think we'll all see that it's undeserved. He's been with Bellaire High School as a coach for 18 plus years. He's never demonstrated any of this behavior.
We reached out to Osuna's attorney today asking for an interview or if they had comment about some wanting his termination. They said they would not comment past what they told ABC 13 yesterday, which includes in part any allegation that he condoned or dismissed any racial slur is false. Any allegation that Coach Osuna has any racial animus is false.
That's not a lie. That is not a lie. Sit back and watch.
Now, the booster club for the Bellaire baseball team was supposed to have a press conference this morning to express their support for the coach, but that had since been postponed. I, of course, reached out to the president of that booster club, and he did tell me that they postponed it because they don't want to make statements on the false allegations, and they're looking forward to a thorough investigation and some positive outcomes. Live in the newsroom, Daniela Hurtado, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Now, let's get into this thing. HISD has a problem with people of color. They have a problem with blacks and Latinos at key schools. Now, everybody in their right mind would say, why Nick Ozuna at Bellaire? Why Nick Ozuna at Bellaire? I just told you, HISD has a problem with people of color. Now, the thing about it is when Tiffany Guillory first started, I had a top political figure tell me that she's guilty of what they said. And I said, no, she's not. So what I'm going to tell you tonight is Nick Ozuna is not guilty of being a racist, nor is he guilty of running a program that has a culture of racism. They said the sounds were monkey sounds. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not monkey sounds. I'm still trying to figure out what sound it is, but it's not a monkey. There were issues with people saying that they heard something. Well, based on what I clearly understand, I would challenge HISD and whoever his attorney is to show me the statements that say Nick Ozuna allowed this to happen. I want statements from every player in the dugout. And from what I clearly understand, there's 27 people that were in the dugout. 27 people in the dugout. But only 12 people supposedly heard a sound coming from one player. See, the thing is the way the narrative was spent from day one is there were multiple players making these sounds. No, it wasn't. It was one player. Cornell X said no one's addressed it, and the players need to be kicked off the team. So when I first heard it, I'm thinking it was the whole team doing this. But after doing my research, it was one kid. One kid. One kid. So did Coach Ozuna address the situation immediately? From what I can clearly understand, it was addressed the next day. The young man was suspended for a whole week. And during that week, to what I understand, there were 2 district games and 1 non-district game. So did Coach Ozuna address the issue immediately? Yes, he did. He addressed it because maybe it was insensitive to some people. But at the end of the day, it's a sport. Now, in baseball, you have a situation where they call booting the ball. That's if you commit an error, you kick the ball, whatever. You know, it's called booting the ball. Now, that much I know. You know, I never played the game, but I've been around it. I lettered in baseball at Yates because I was the bat boy for 3 years. And I've seen the noises that people make in the dugouts. There's a situation called booting the ball. So there was a ball that was booted in the middle of this game. And somebody said, this is not soccer. This is baseball. Where a kid kicked the ball. How in the hell is that a racially charged statement? And we're talking about two teams that are being highly competitive, that are both trash talking to each other. No, nobody told us that the other team that's the victim was trash talking. The victims were trash talking. So what were they saying? They were trash talking. So now you want to get mad when somebody tell you this ain't soccer, this baseball. Now, knowing me, that's what I would have said. This ain't soccer. This baseball. This ain't soccer. This is baseball. So the first lie is Coach Ozuna didn't address the kid. Yes, he did. He suspended him. Yes, he did. He suspended him. 2 district games, 1 non-district game. Excuse me. Second lie. Second lie. Here we go. That players gave statements in the middle of an investigation based on what I've learned studying criminal justice, and I'm inches away from having my bachelor's. How is a criminal investigation done? Well, of course, you will have to get statements. Are there written statements? I don't think so. So you mean to tell me we conduct an investigation and don't take written statements? Do we have recorded statements? No, I don't think so. So hold on a second. No written or recorded statements, but this is an investigation, right? So who wrote up everything? HISD. Who wrote up everything? HISD. Wow. Wow. So no statements to back up what supposedly the player said. Or do you just have statements from the victim team? You don't have anything from Bellaire. Maybe that's the reason Nick Ozuna's been sitting in that warehouse for 9 months, 10 months now. So no statements at all. So let me go through, because I've compiled my own notes, and let's look at it. Okay. The people that have total control over this diamond during the course of this game is the umpires. And I know this from football, that umpires as well as referees have to do reports. I did an open records request. Where are the reports from the umpires that say the monkey sounds and the N-word and all this happened? There are no derogatory reports from the umpires. So the people that have the ability to stop the game don't have anything negative or derogatory on their reports that they have to do after every game. Did something racially charged happen at this game? Or did Westbury get their behinds kicked 23-2? They said that they had to pull the kid on the mound who was dealing with the monkey sounds because it was too much for him. Is it true that the HISD rule is that a kid who pitches in a game in a UIL sport in high school can only throw 110 pitches? How many pitches did this young man throw before he was pulled? 105. He would only been able to face one more batter. So he didn't get pulled because of monkey sounds and the thing about it, where he had this racially sensitive thing going on and it was bothering him. He got pulled because he had met his pitch count. HISD. I'm about to apply pressure. Now, nobody in the Bellaire community may apply pressure, but I know that you're lying now. And I know that you went after Nick Ozuna for other reasons. You went after Nick Ozuna, one, because he's a person of color. You went after Nick Ozuna because you want to destroy Bellaire baseball, which is the thing that drives the school. So did you remove him because the N-word was bothering him or the monkey sounds? Or did you remove him because he had already met his pitch count? 105 pitches. He could only throw 110. And that's when the kid was removed. Nah, he wasn't removed because of that. Is it also true that HISD tried to spin the narrative that this was an ongoing culture at Bellaire, in Bellaire baseball, to incur this type of insensitive stuff? Can somebody from HISD tell me how many times Coach Ozuna told you that this had never happened with his team? Can somebody tell me how many times Coach Ozuna is going to be in charge of kids when they're away from the diamond, when they're out of his presence? And how does Coach Ozuna control any conduct that's outside of his presence, outside of his coach's presence, outside of game mode or practice mode? See, let me make you understand something. You know how many times we got to go to practice and tell black kids to stop calling each other the N-word? We don't want to hear this. That's how they talk in their culture as African Americans. But some of us grown-ups, we don't want to be affiliated with it. So don't bring this around here. And I'm pretty sure that if it was brought around there, that Nick Ozuna would have addressed it. So here's where I get confused. If it's been an ongoing cultural issue, how many times was it reported to the administration? How many times was it reported to HISD? 0. Can't be a part of the culture if it's never been reported. Never been reported. There was also the threat, supposedly, of Nick Ozuna, senior players, supposedly they weren't going to play if this kid was still on the team. That's not true. HISD. There was no need for them to say that because Nick Ozuna had already disciplined the kid. So why would somebody make this up? Let me flip, because I got my own notes. Hold on a second. Supposedly, one of the Westbury coaches had something to say to one of the Bellaire baseball players, and Nick Ozuna told him, "Don't say nothing to my kids." So that makes it look like that Nick was tolerating behavior that was unbecoming of a baseball player. But is it true, HISD, that Nick Ozuna, just like any other coach, whether football, basketball, or whatever, will not allow an opposing coach to address their children? If you got a problem with my kid, I'll address my kid. I'll give you one different, black folk. You remember when Howlin' Wolf was in the studio at Cadillac Records? And you remember when the white man that owned the label stopped and tried to address Herbert, the guitar player? You remember what Howlin' Wolf told him? Don't address my guitar player. If you have a problem, you bring it to me. Is that the truth, HISD, that what happened? Nick Ozuna said, don't address his kid. You tell him and he'll address his kid? Too many lies from me. Now, if Nick Ozuna is guilty of all of this the funny part. Hold on a second, man, because I got to drink me a shot on this one. HISD, if Nick Ozuna is guilty of all of that, why were you just going to move him to another school? Whoa. What you saying, Mr. Murray? What I'm trying to tell y'all is HISD. Hold on a second. I'm getting something in through the hotline. Hold on. Okay. Why was Nick Ozuna offered by HISD to be moved to another school? They were just not going to let him coach baseball. This is a very serious charge. You know why he was going to be moved to another school? And if he accepts the deal, he can never coach baseball again. That's their way of sweeping it under the rug. But I'm kind of proud of Nick Ozuna for standing up to himself. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The culture of Bellaire, some people say is racist. I have my perception of the whole situation. I've never worried about sending my child to Bellaire. And I put 5 through school. And guess what? All 5 of them went to Yates. I lived right across the street from Hightower High School for 12 years. And none of my kids went there. They were going to be Yates Lions if they were nothing else. The perception is there of what it is with Bellaire. But I ain't into perception. I'm into fact. I'm into fact. And I'm going to be honest with you. The stuff that I've compiled and that I've looked at, this thing, as far as HISD trying to get Nick Ozuna, got more bullet holes in it than a gunfighter. It is too many bullet holes. It's too many questions that have been asked that cannot get a clarified answer on. You guys need to understand, why did they not fire Nick Ozuna? You know why? Because they can't prove their damn case. They can't prove their case. I'm sorry, but they can't prove it. Oh, it stinks, Robin. It stinks. Let me go through my notes again. Hold on a second. Now, was there political pressure to do something about this? Sure, there was political pressure. You had Quanell and Candace do a press conference. You also had the NAACP who did a meeting at the Jewish synagogue in Bellaire. And I was there and it got heated. Because one thing I ain't finna do is back down from nobody. And it got heated. It got heated. Also, there is an issue of whether the Crown Act was violated in reference to the kid with his hair. Well, I'm sorry to tell y'all there is no Crown Act in the state of Texas. So the Crown Act was not violated. And I know this because DeAndre Arnold was my client before I walked away from it in Barbers Hill. There is no Crown Act in the state of Texas. Let me go through my other set of papers. So there's so many lies in this. The kid was not removed from the mound because of anything racial. The kid was removed from the mound because he had already hit his pitch count. And what they want from Nick Ozuna is they want him to resign, just like Tiffany Guillory. But Nick hasn't resigned. Nick is still sitting in the warehouse. And HISD has done nothing. So it takes 10 months to investigate something like this. It takes 10 months, and we're still watching this man sit over here. Let me tell y'all what I think it is. And I don't give a damn what nobody tell me. They wanted to cripple Bellaire baseball, because if you cripple Bellaire baseball, you realistically cripple that school. You took the principal out, which you shouldn't have taken Michael McDonough out. So now you got the principal. Now let's cripple Bellaire baseball. Now me, I'm about standing up for what's right. That's just how I'm built. And I'm not going to back down on this. Another thing, the investigator that's over this assignment, can someone tell me what confidentiality means? That means there's certain things I don't know at this point, because I don't even try to breach confidentiality between an employee and the Houston Independent School District, but the investigator did. You breached confidentiality, and you exposed things from this investigation to the point, and this is how I know, that it was shared on social media. So can Nick Ozuna actually get a fair level 3 grievance hearing? I doubt it. I doubt it, because this was shared. Are there board members that need to abstain themselves from his level 3 hearing? Yes, because it's already been spoken on. So you have to step away from it, because you can't touch it now. You've commented on it. You that's board policy. You can't know the details, but the details have already been known. So if you got to do it, you got to do it the right way. Nick Ozuna didn't allow children to use racial slurs. There's not one statement that says he did. Nick Ozuna did not use racial slurs, nor anyone on his coaching staff. There's not one statement that says he did. The umpires did not hear the N-word or the sounds that they were making were normal to the umpires, because there's nothing on their umpire reports that say they did. But HISD, you know, old 5-star, he keep a feather up under his cap. And I'm going to be honest with you. One of your people dropped the ball. And I got it. I got it. Now, what I'm going to do, and I've not been asked to do this, is I'm finna start applying pressure. And I know y'all sitting over there, what's wrong with this Negro? I ain't on a black or white mission. I ain't on a Republican or Democratic mission. I'm on a mission from God. And I'm on a mission from God for one reason. It's time for the truth to be told about what is really going on. When it's all said and done, I said it with Guillory, and I'm going to say it with Nick Ozuna. Nick Ozuna will be back at Bellaire. He will be back coaching baseball, or you people will look like the fools that you are. Some days you got to know when just to let it go. And in all actuality, you guys don't want to let it go. You don't never want to admit when you're wrong. And you're wrong about Nick Ozuna, and you know it. That's why you haven't terminated it. So to make sure that we clearly understand, don't want you to see. But you are totally. Thank you to my friend that got me all this. Wrong. So this is what I recommend, Miss Katasha Woods. Millard House III. I don't care what the perception of Bellaire is. The city of Bellaire, Bellaire High School, or Bellaire baseball. Fair, honest investigation. And if it's not there, then eat it and move on. But if you push the issue, I'm going to expose you across the board. So I will start applying pressure. And I will show the conspiracy within, from within, that was designed to cripple Bellaire baseball. Are you still upset because these people have forced your hands on certain issues? Are you still upset because they got the muscle to make you move when you don't want to move? 17 years. And I think it was 14 years as an assistant coach. A kid from Sharpstown, Texas. That's what we call our neighborhoods. We name them like they city. From Sharpstown, Texas. Grew up to be one of the best baseball coaches in the country. And you think I'm going to just let that go down? Is this my first rodeo defending a coach in HISD? No. I did it with Gary Dunham from Cashmere. You remember the morning when you woke up HISD and you tried to send Dunham on his way? And I told you that wasn't going to happen because Gary Dunham wasn't going to go out like that. Now, I've never been coached one day by Gary Dunham, but I just knew him from the days of when we played. He's been at Cashmere forever. And that ain't how he was going to go out. And less than an hour later, you put him back in that position. My recommendation to the Houston Independent School District is to put Nick Ozuna back at the helm of Bellaire baseball. Let him continue to be one of the best baseball coaches in the country, running one of the best baseball programs in the country. And I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. My job is to stand up for children. My job is to make sure them kids get a fair shake. And what you've done to those kids that had to come back this year and play, you've demoralized them. Because leadership is a motherfucker. So I'm not standing up for Bellaire. I'm not standing up for Nick Ozuna. I'm standing up for the children. The ones that had to come back. And I feel bad for the seniors that had to go out the way that they went out. But now I'm in your business. And I know, just like you know, your investigator was biased. She was biased. And the only reason that she wrote the report that she wrote, y'all gonna love this, because she didn't like his tone in a meeting. He seems very forthcoming. He seems like he's straight to the point. He just seems like an old school goddamn baseball coach. And you didn't like his tone? I know you don't like my tone. But guess what? It is what it is. You now are on my clock. And I'm pretty busy this week. But Monday, I am going to start applying pressure. Pressure don't bust pipes. It creates diamonds. And I'm going to give this effort the same effort I gave Tiffany Guillory. You will not undo our people of color and black people stop believing everything that come across your news screen like it's racist. I don't care what the culture says. I only care about the truth. And the truth of the matter is, you don't have nothing on Nick Ozuna. If you don't have anything on him, then why are you doing this? I've already proved you right about Yates, that you were out to destroy black education. But now, is it true that you're out to destroy one of the best high schools in the country? Is it true? Prove me wrong. You ain't been able to do that yet. Oh, and by the way, HISD, any piece of what I said tonight you want to contradict, try me. I will expose you. Everything I said tonight is 100% accurate. You don't have anything on Nick Ozuna. So, as a gift to Nick Ozuna, the Ozuna family, the Bellaire kids, 5 stars on it. And I'm not going back down. But man, it's a racist situation. And, you know, it's black kids say, explain this to me. And an old 5-star gonna let you make it tonight. In a game with Bellaire High School versus Westbury, who had a black pitcher, the sounds were made and you say there were monkey noises and it was disrespectful. HISD, did you not receive a video where these same noises were being made when Bellaire High School played a white team? Same exact noises against an all-white team. It's the Warzone. And I'm the 5-star general. Pressure creates diamonds. And I'm going mining for diamonds come Monday. And I'm going to expose you for all that you are worth. The Houston Independent School District. It ain't Nick Ozuna that don't need to be around kids. It's you people up in that district office with your foolishness. I'll holler at y'all.